As a 18-year-old, 19-year-old freshman in college, grown up in southern Idaho, to be in Seoul, Korea, Tokyo, Japan, the Philippines.
I went on my first international tour to Southeast Asia.
We went to Russia, and it was by far the hardest tour that I've been on.
Australia, Samoa, Tonga, New Zealand, and then later on to China.
In 1990, we went to the Soviet Union. It still was the Soviet Union at that point.
Every tour taught us so much. Every tour was very memorable. Every tour had its very difficult moments. Every tour had its exquisite joy.
The thing that I loved about our tours was it just wasn't concerts. We had outreaches, we had cultural experiences, we had service projects.
Going to an orphanage in Thailand and dancing with the orphans there, doing dance exchanges where you didn't speak the same language, but using that communication through dance and being able to make those connections.
It opened my mind in ways that I feel like it wouldn't have otherwise. If I had gone specifically for my major, I really needed to learn those experiences through performing. That I was able to make those connections and make them stronger through performing.
And so I think in my life going forward, I have an enlarged perspective and more confidence to reach out and interact with people who are different than I am, and to bridge some of those social and socioeconomic and political barriers that oftentimes form that chasm that separates us.
You know, when we first started the programs of touring at Brigham Young University, I don't know that we had this phrase, experiential learning, but that's exactly what we have been doing for many, many years. You can talk and talk and talk to students. You can show them films in the classroom. You can read about it, but it is not the same as being there and experiencing it for yourself.
It helps me recruit because I can tell people, look, yeah, you can get a good education in lots of places. You won't get this unless you come here.
They think about a tour, they think, oh, this is going to be just a wonderful vacation, going to be taken away from our dull life and have some excitement. But what they learned from that experience was that there are people in the world who are just starving for an escape from their world into a world that will allow them to dream, and these kids were that.
To give the history of performing arts management, you have to go back into the mid-'60s with Mary B. Jensen taking her group, the International Folk Dance Ensemble, over to Europe, but she had to mortgage her house in order to do that. You have Janie Thompson, who had Program Bureau, which was Young Ambassadors, Living Legends, and those two women really, they started the international touring here at BYU. Because of that, BYU decided that we should really pull these groups together and to create an entity to oversee it, performance scheduling, and it was organized in 1971.
So much of what we were able to do was because performing arts management had forged relationships, personal relationships, all the way up, you know, from the truck driver to the government official that could open the door to get this made or that done.
It hasn't been just once that something has happened and I've had someone with me from Performing Arts Management who has helped create the solutions, been a huge example of how they've acted during the stressful time.
It completely allows an artistic director to be the artistic director. They focus entirely on the show, on the students, on their preparation for the show, on all the things that will make that part of the tour, which we've seen from all our stories, is not necessarily the most important thing because so much happens not in the shows, but they allow the artistic director to focus on those things and still provide the students with all of those surrounding activities that are part of their learning experience in such an important way. So that partnership, that collaboration, is what makes the tours a powerful learning experience for the students.